Hi people, let's talk about the second coming of the Appletini. As nostalgia grips drinkers, bartenders are giving vilified 90s concoctions like the Lychee Martini and the Lemon Drop in Uprega and ushering in a new martini era. In April, a bar called Martini's were pronounced like the drink will open near Gramercy Park in Manhattan. As one might expect from a place named after the world's most famous cocktail, there is a martini on the menu. It is purple. That signature cocktail of the Grand Martini's is made of gin, manzanilla sherry, port wine, elderflower liquor, and cognac. It's a twist on a 50-50 martini from Takuma Watanabe, the cocktail bar's beverage director and a founder. I love martinis, he said. He has company. These days, New York and other major cities are washing martinis, many of them straying far from the traditional template. Speculation within the industry on the source of the drink's descent varies. There's the nostalgia for a simpler era, the sharpening of drinkers' palates thanks to COVID-era home bartending, and of course, the need for a stiff drink in hard times. The popularity of the espresso martini too cannot be discounted, if only for keeping the word martini in constant circulation. Every new bar or restaurant seems to offer a special martini. And just as in the so-called Martini era of the 1990s, or when anything in a conical glass sported the name martini, no matter the ingredients, and many don't stop at one. The martinis at Cheche's, an aperitivo-style bar that opened last fall in San Francisco, include the Coastal Martini, made of aquavit, sherry, and vermouth. At Sweet Liberty in Miami, the martini list is 6 drinks long, with modern versions of a 90s staples like the Lychee Martini and the Lemon Drop. We Cocktail Lounge, a new bar in Flatbush, Brooklyn, also has a lemon drop riff made with vodka, sherry, and lemon cordial. Little Ned, which recently opened in the old Nomad space in the Flatiron district, has a vodka-based champagne martini made with Lillet Blanc and a champagne reduction, and an everything martini, a gin-vodka blend flavored with a roasted allium tincture and garnished with mozzarella balls. It's enough to make you take all the talk of a 1990s revival seriously. Are we living through a new Martini era? I think it's a much more refined Martini era, if it is, said Chris Moore, the beverage director of the Ned Nomad, the hotel and members a club that contains Little Ned. Mr. Moore, whose resume includes stints at Coupette in London and Dante in Manhattan, is among the seasoned cocktail bartenders leading this explosion of variegated martinis. He recalls how the craft cocktail community, which arose in the early 2000s, rejected the syrupy horrors of martinis past. Now, however, he is all in on martini experimentation. I quite like the idea of taking a classic twist on a martini and twisting it again, he said. Now I see the reinvention of the apple martini. Julie Reiner, a leader in the craft cocktail business for 2 decades, has tried to improve the Appletini more than once. She first attracted attention in 2000 at the Greenwich Village Restaurant 3 for her improved version of that 90s bar staple, which used apple-infused vodka, apple liquor, and sparkling cider. When her new Soho Bar Miladies opens this fall, she'll serve apple martinis that are even better. Her latest version contains apple-infused gin and vodka, as well as apple brandy and apple liquor. She thinks the martini's resurgence is driven in large part by nostalgia. And there's something to be said for those flavors, she said. A lot of people want to drink martinis, but a classic martini is too strong for them. The critical differences between yesterday's and today's creative martinis are skill and ingredients. While the old martinis were mostly made of vodka and cloying liqueurs, today's bartenders insist on higher quality spirits and a drier touch. It's not just any random ingredient served in a martini glass, said Sam Ross, an owner of Attaboy, who last year helped reopen Temple Bar in Noah, which offers nearly a dozen martinis. This time around, it's based around clear spirits stirred with wine-based products, he said, in the same way that the classic martini mixes clear gin or vodka with vermouth. Mr. Ross pointed out that 20 years ago, bartenders didn't have access to the wide variety of vermouths, sherries, and other wine-based spirits imported today. This allows for a wider array of martinis that are nonetheless closer to the classic model than to the sweet potions of the 90s. The martini-thirsty public has also played a part in creating this expanding martini universe. Ashley Santoro, the beverage director of Duchat's, which opened in July, in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, newer customers were going to order standard martinis anyway. There was no point in listing a classic version on the menu. The 2 martinis available are the Duchat's Martini, made with gin, vermouth, sherry, and celery brino, and the Kinky Martini, made with red Thai chili-infused vodka, a chili liqueur, and 2 aperitifs. If the cocktail revival of the past 2 decades has been a history of bartenders trying to correct bad practices and misunderstood cocktails, perhaps the new Tinus are the ultimate correction. taking a chapter of cocktail history that had been written off as a train wreck and rewriting it as a creative embroidering on a classic. Naren Young, the creative director of Sweet Liberty, sees value in making a great version of something that is often made poorly. Maybe I can drink a good apple martini, he said. Maybe I can have a great lemon drop. There's nothing wrong with it if it's done well. Drink responsibly. Please subscribe my channel. See you on next videos.